Hello everyone and welcome. Welcome to a new video of your channel, Joanna Rincon de Alignment. And I am Joanna, and today we are going to be talking about the law of reflection from our favorite book, book for personal growth, The 50 Invaluable Laws of Growth by our friend and our mentor, John Maxwell. Well, today we're going to be talking about this law, which is the fourth law in the book, and is the law of reflection. And I invite you to stay until the end of the video so you can learn how to make pause, right? I think now during this time with the COVID-19, we have all been obligated to make a pause in our life, right? But how can we take that time and this opportunity to take this pause and really reflect on it and ask us really good questions that can help us put things into different perspective, right? And we can grow from all of this. All right. So let's start. So the law of reflection says, learning to pause allows growth to catch up with you. And I love that. And right below that, he says, his very first paragraph of the book, I'm going to read it to you all because I loved it. He says, there are many different ways of growing and an infinite number of lessons to be learned in life. But there are some kinds of growth that come to us only if we're willing to stop, pause, and allow the lessons to catch up with us, right? So important. It's really important. You know why? Because a lot of people think that just because they're older than us, right? They have more experience than us. They think that they know more than us. And that's not true. Experience is not any good if you don't evaluate your experience. It's not the experience. It's only evaluated experiences that are going to help us to move in a different direction and will help us to grow in life. We need to stop to think and analyze what happens to us so that we can learn from those experiences. So that's why when we go through something in life, good or bad, we need to take time to stop and reflect about it so that we can learn from it. Especially bad experiences, right? Because normally when things are going well in life, we don't really stop to reflect, right? It's only when bad things happen that we normally do this reflection and we hit rock bottom, and we stop and think about the things that we need to learn, right? All right, so let's start. So he says the power of pausing. He gives us a couple different insights about the power of pausing. And the first insight that he gives us, he says, reflection turns experiences into insights. And I will give you an example for this because I think the only time when we stop, as I just mentioned, the only time when we stop to reflect and to think about different things is when something tragic happens or when we have a breakthrough in our life. And I will give you an example. Like if somebody close to you, it's God forbid, like has an accident and there's a tragic loss in your family or friends, and you didn't take the time to thank that person for everything that they have done for you, or you haven't maybe show that person how much you love them, or you haven't even been able to say, I love you, thank you for everything. This happens a lot. That's like the thing that a lot of people, when they go to funerals and they lose family members, that's one of the first things that people regret, that they didn't show that person how much they love them. And we don't need to we don't need to wait. We don't need to wait until something bad happens for you to demonstrate people how much you love them. So I just want to give you that example because I think it's a good thing to put in perspective, to think about it, right? Let's do it now that we are all alive and we're still good, healthy, and we have each other. Number 2, he says, everyone needs time and a place to pause. That's true. Number 3, he says, pausing with intention expands and enriches thinking. We need to be intentional about that. Then he says, when you take time to pause, use your eyes. So let's see, what are our eyes? The first eye is investigation. The second eye is incubation. So the investigation will start with the questions that you will ask yourself, which I'll give you a couple questions, really good questions that you can ask yourself when you're doing this whole reflection exercise. So the investigation will start with the questions. Then the incubation will be, okay, I have a plan. This is what I'm going to do. And you start incubating that idea. So incubation. Then the third eye is illumination. And the fourth eye is illustration. Thought that was really interesting. So if you buy, and I think you should all buy the book, by the way, because it's an amazing book. And I don't want to get into much details about everything that says here about those different eyes, but I think it's really powerful to consider it and start applying those principles in your life. Then he says, good questions are the heart of reflection. All right. He says here, there's actually a really good quote from Anthony Robbins that I wanted to read to all of you. He says, successful people ask better questions, and as a result, they get better answers. And isn't that true? Because haven't you been in places where at the end, like there's a Q&A, there's an opportunity for people to ask questions, right? Questions and answers. And haven't you seen people that they ask like questions that when you hear the questions, you're like, really? Did she just ask that? Or did he just ask that? And, you know, the level of the same way you formulate that question and the level of intensity that you put in that question, that's the same level of intensity that you're going to get back in your response, right? So that's why you need to be very smart when you ask yourself these questions so that you can get smart responses back from you when you're in the reflection exercise. Then personal awareness, he gives us some questions there. I'm not going to get into all of those. But he does says here, there are things in life that you have to work for, and there are things that you have to wait for. Wow. And most of them we actually have to work for. But some of them, if it's not the right time, we have to sit and wait for them. But I thought that was really interesting, and that's why I highlighted that note. All right, so I am going to give you now some questions that he gives us if we wanted to grow in the area of relationships. These are the questions that he gives us that we can ask ourselves when we are doing this reflection and the exercising, the pausing. So I'll give you those. There are 10 of them, but I'm not going to give all 10. I just picked a couple of them. The first one is, do I value people? Do people know I value them? How do I show it? Am I a plus or a minus in my most important relationships? Powerful questions. Number 8, he says, do I need to forgive someone in my life who needs to be given grace? Then he says, number 9, who in my life should I take time to thank? A lot of times we have people in our lives, they do so much for us, and we just think that they are obligated to us, you know, like that they have to do it. And no, nobody is obligated to do anything for us. We need to take time and thank those people in our lives. Take time and don't wait for something bad to happen to then tell them how much you love them, right? And then number 10, he says, who in my life should be receiving more time from me? Who should I be spending more time with? Very important too. A lot of times we spend way too much time with people that they don't appreciate us, and they don't and they just they don't appreciate us. We do things for them and we try to help, but they just simply don't appreciate you. So try to find those people that really, they will, that you need to spend more time with, and just make it a point to do it. Then we have a couple other questions that he's giving us here in the area of personal growth. And the number one question, he says, am I growing daily? This book, it's a way to grow daily. If you buy this book and you start reading every day, when you start reading this book, he actually recommends that you read a chapter every week, because there are some exercises at the end of every chapter that you can do. So that's a good way to start growing, to buy this book, The 50 Invaluable Laws of Growth. Then he says, what am I doing daily to grow? Reading. You can start researching on YouTube. You can start studying people that are successful in the area that you want to improve, right? That's a good way to do it. Then he says, another question here, what are the roadblocks that are keeping me from growing? And then the last question that I picked here is, am I passing on to someone what I'm learning? Those are amazing questions, my friends, that will help you to stop, pause, and reflect if you want to be intentional in your personal growth. Well, I hope this video has helped you. Once again, this was a brief resume, a brief description of that law, the law of reflection, and that's law number 4 of the 15 Invaluable Laws of Growth by John Maxwell. Again, if you think this video is going to help someone else, please share it. Also share in the comments below, what do you like most? What do you learn? What you didn't learn? What you didn't like? I want to hear all about it. Thank you so much for staying until the end. If you are not subscribed to this channel yet, please make sure you subscribe. It is, I need your support. Please subscribe and put the little bell thing so that you can receive a notification when I post another video. And if you're not following on my social media yet, these are my social media. So I have my Instagram account is Internal Alignment by Joanna. And on Facebook, I have a Facebook page, Internal Alignment. All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. And again, I hope this video added value to you. And I hope somehow I was able to inspire you, encourage you, and empower you to do great things in your life. Thank you so much and have a great day. Bye-bye.